It goes back to when I was a kid. When I was a kid, Miles and Train and Buhana and Horace and Dizzy, I mean, that was my world. Blue Mitchell, Cannonball, Nat Adams, that was my world, man. On that, I mean, that was it. And as the music, and I was 3 years old, progressing as the music was progressing. So when it went electric, I was buying the records as they were coming out. And then when it got too commercial, I remember going to see, I saw Art Blakey. First time I saw him is when he was playing with the Giants of Jazz. And it was opposite Miles and Weather Report and George Benson. And Miles was amazing that night. But the Giants of Jazz stole the show. Who hated stole the show. 1975, I saw Boo again. That's when I told you I sat in with him. And at that point, I had seen a lot of groups. I saw, there was mostly fusion bands now. It was The Turner Forever. And it was Mad Vishnu was actually good. Weather Report, I saw Weather Report when they were killing. Then I saw it when it started going down, in my opinion. Which just sound like rock and roll. And then I was watching all the groups, I saw Billy Cobham left Mad Vishnu, and he had a band, and he had them tooting drums look like tubs. Two people that stood out for me. Tony Williams' new Lifetime band. When I heard that, I said, oh, shit. Tony Williams, man, what happened to Tony? I meant in a good way, because I hadn't heard from Tony in a while. And that band sounded so good, so different than with Billy Cobham. I'm like, where he had been all this time? That was some of the most amazing shit I saw as far as fusion goes, the new Tony Williams Lifetime. And then the second thing that was even more amazing was Art Blakey's Jazz Message. And I saw them opposite another fusion band. I want to say it was John Clemmer. And they played, and then Art came up and played, and it sounded like the lights came on. I mean, everything was exciting, and they were playing hard, man. And Bill Hartman was smoking, and everybody it was straight ahead, uncompromising jazz. And man, at that point, I was saying, I want to play with Art, And when I looked up, he had a new band with Valerie Panamara, but he was still, beautiful to me. Every time he saw me, he would pull me out of the audience, he would hug me, tell me to come play. He would feature me, and I would be playing with Valerie. And I didn't have no problems. I loved Valerie, too. I'm telling you all this to say, by the time Art called me to legitimately play in his band, I was ready. I really wanted to do it. My father didn't let me go to Europe with them. So when they came back, I played with the big band a little more than Wynton Marsalis became the trumpeter with the Messengers. And I was a little hurt, but I wasn't too hurt. I understood. Wynton was good, and he had been playing with them all through the summer. Shit, he deserved it. But I wanted to play the Messengers. So then all of a sudden I heard a story that Wynton was leaving. By now, me and Wynton were like rivals. And Wynton had stayed in my house before. So I had heard that Wynton was leaving, and I called Wynton. Wynton wouldn't tell me anything. I asked the guys in the Messengers. They wouldn't tell me anything. So one day I saw that Art was playing at the Bottom Line. I decided I was going to go down there and sit in. But I was a little hurt. I said, if he's leaving, how come they didn't call me? I was just trumpet playing in the band too. I sold everything I had. I was going to Berkeley at that time. I sold all my records. I sold clothes, sold comics, and I sold my trumpet. And I borrowed a trumpet from a guy who had a trumpet, and it was a con. It was a good trumpet, but he didn't know it. But it was kind of beat up. I said, man, can I play it? Can I have this trumpet? He said, this is not in good shape. I said, I'll take care of it. He said, well, if you can fix it, you can have it. So I took it, got the disc taken out of it, and took it to New York City. And I went a day early, or maybe 2 days early, a day early. and Woody Shaw was playing at the 7th Avenue South. And what I'm about to tell you is one of the most beautiful experiences in my life. I had known Woody, too, as a kid, you know, and Woody was sort of like a mentor to me. So Woody saw me at his gig, and Woody came right over to me and said, "Wow, you know, Buhana is changing band over tomorrow." And I tried to act like I really didn't know. I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah. You know that's supposed to be your gig." I said, "Well, you know, I would like to." He said, "Well, look, I want you to play with me tonight. I want you to play the whole night with me. Because if you go sit in with Boo tomorrow, you're going to be nervous. So I want you to work your nerves off tonight." So I sat in with Woody the whole night, man. 3 sets, and, you know, and it was a good thing that I did because even though I was still nervous with Art, you know, it gave me a chance to be in front of the crowd a night beforehand, you know, and kind of work off being in front of people. So now I go to see Art the next day. And the first night, I didn't bring my trumpet because I didn't want to seem like I was trying to push Winton off the gig. He saw me, he said, "Where's your horn?" I said, "I didn't bring it." He didn't bring it. You're supposed to always bring your horn. You bring your horn tomorrow and come play with us. I said, "Okay." So that was validation. Man, the next day I got there and got ready to pull out my horn, there was this other trumpet player there that was ready to sit in. And he had a suit on, and he knew all the new tunes, because, you know, the new band had new tunes. He knew all the new tunes. He knew everything. I got up there, man, and Terrence, I'm telling you, he knew all the new songs like Miss BC that Bobby Watson just wrote, and he knew all the hits. He knew when to bow, and he was damn near on the gig. And I got up there, sat in, and I was listening to the tune, and I was trying to figure out the changes. And Charles Campbell was whispering to me, too. And I had perfect pitch, so I was playing off of that. And I think I did a good job on the first song. Then we played the second song, and, you know, it was another new song I never heard, and I'm trying to figure it out. And then they played a classic, A Long Term Betty. And I knew that one. And we got up there and played, and I guess I played everything I could think of. And when I got through, when we finished Along Came Betty, they played the theme, and they went back in the back, and they had a meeting. And all I know is Charles Sandberg came out and get back out and said, "You got the gig. Don't tell anybody. You got the gig." And I got a call from Europe. It was Buhana. And so, "Wallace, we're going to be back November 17th, and we're going to make a record. And I want you to be on the record, not Winton." And I'm going to tell you, what he said was true. He came back, and I was on the record. I'm on the record. If you look, it's a record called Killer Joe, Art Blakey and George Kawaguchi. It's me, not Winton. Miles said to me, he said, "Wallace, how come the critics don't write up on you?" And I said, "Well, Miles," I said, "you know, they trying to say that I'm a clone of you." And, you know, I said, they write me bad, and they try to say I'm a clone of you, and da-da-da-da-da. Miles said, "Don't listen to them. You keep playing the way you play. I know what you're trying to do. If you listen to them, they'll play you instead of playing your horn." And I said, "Yeah, I know." I said, "But, you know, some of that stuff is personal, you know, what they say." And this was one of the most beautiful things Miles said to me. He could have told me don't listen to them. But he said, "I know how you feel. I remember when I got my first bad write-up, the guy wrote, the poor trumpet player, idly copying Dizzy, will never make it in business." And when Miles said, I thought that broke my heart. He didn't, in other words, he sympathized with me how I felt. He didn't try to tell me forget it. He rode the pain with me, and I appreciated that. I think it's in flux. I think the whole business is in flux. The record recording industry is in flux. So if the recording industry is in flux, naturally the critics can't write shit. You know, they don't have any power either. People don't look for them to see what record to buy or who to see, you know, because now they can see for themselves, you know. But I think it also hurts the industry too, because I think you kind of need that sort of advertisement. And the reason why it's fucked up is because they fucked it up. They spent so much time endorsing, messing over people like me and people that's really trying, and endorsing people that really don't deserve it. People don't trust it anymore. I mean, they don't know what to like anymore. You know what I mean? They figure, well, I went to hear Dirty Dozen Brass Band because they said it was great. And I guess it was great, but I really didn't like it. No, but I never got tired of us, man. You go to Art Blakey's house, and he has a gang of young musicians in his room. And he'd been there just telling stories and walking around and having fun. And we held on to every word. He was a king. Now, Miles was different. Miles had none of that shit. We had to earn it from Miles. You know what I mean? I'm in between. I'm like both. With my band, I'm like art. But as far as sometimes people have to earn it a little bit. Miles was more like that. You just didn't walk up to Miles, and Miles is going to spread everything to you. Miles look at you sideways. And Miles will turn his back on you. And if you keep running after him, then he'll make you wait for him. You know, I mean, and then he'd listen to you. And if you didn't sound good, he'd tell you, you sound like shit. By the grace of God, you know, he gave me his phone number, you know. You know, it was beautiful. The music business always stunk. And it was the music business is twofold. Well, first, musicians always want to write, or creative musicians always want to write. But the music business, all they're caring about is making money off of it. They don't want you to write anymore because they don't have to pay you for your composition. You know, you write a certain amount of songs. You got to take you got to sign a contract to have a certain rate, with a statutory. I don't know if I'm saying the right word, but it's a rate they have to pay you for your song. Right. They'd rather you do standards because they don't have to pay that. You know, that's already there. So they don't encourage you to write anymore. They encourage you to do standards now, so they can own all of what you do. You don't, now you probably say, well, what happened in the 60s? What happened in the 60s was, first of all, if you notice, Bird and them didn't write. They wrote, but they wrote something on somebody else's chord changes. You know what I mean? They wrote off of that. Monk started writing, and Bud started writing, and that really started, and Disney started writing. But then the record companies was encouraging that because they were stealing their publishing. If you look at Bud's writing, it says Bud Powell, Blue Horizon Music. That was Blue Note. Or Verve something music, you know? Monk, even Monk. You read Monk's book, they were stealing Monk's publishing. Monk didn't know nothing about publishing, you know? That shit didn't stop until G.G. Grice. G.G. Grice started telling Horace Silver and them to keep their own publishing. And Horace and Donald Byrd and G.G. Grice were the first ones to keep their publishing. Everybody else, including Miles. Musical Frontier, if you look on his records, Musical Frontier, Sonny Rollins, he didn't have his own publishing company. So they was making money off of their publishing. Wow. But once they stopped, that's when they started not encouraging that shit anymore. Herbie was another one that had his own publishing because Donald Byrd taught him that. But, I mean, Wayne Shorter didn't have his own publishing until 1969. And then he had to write a letter back to Blue Note and try to reclaim all his stuff. And then when you did have your own publishing, a lot of guys had their own publishing and the company was taking 50% of it. You know, first time I played with Buhane, I was 15 years old, 1976. I sat up with him. With Bill Hardman was in the band. With Bill Hardman and David Schnitter and who was playing Mickey Tucker and Tim Suzuki. And I asked, could I sit in? And we played Night in Tunisia. And Bill Hardman was a sweetheart, man. He didn't feel no drafts of nothing. He encouraged me to play. Art wanted me to play, but Bill encouraged it. And when I got through, Art asked me to join the band, 15 years old. Next time I played with Art was the big band. Art had Valerie Panamarev and all of them in the band, and I was hanging around the band all the time, sitting in and playing with those guys. And then he decided he was going to change the band, and he called me and Wynton Marsalis and Branford and Robin and Kevin Eubanks and Bill Pierce had just joined the band, and Charles Fambro was the new bass player. And man, that was an amazing band, but I didn't get to make the record because when they went to Europe, my father wouldn't let me go to Europe. And Art understood. All right, so when we come back from Europe, you rejoin the band, and I did. I rejoined them in Washington D.C., and we only played three more gigs. Fort DuPont Park in Washington, Jazzmobile, and then we played in Boston. Then I wound up joining Art's band again in 1986. I became the music director. Now I'm finally getting my chance to play with Art, and Tony Williams calls me at the same time to play in his band because I had made a record with Tony, and Tony liked me, and he was putting a good band together around me. So man, now I'm in this predicament where I got both of them wanting me to be in their band, and man, I really wanted to play with Tony, and I really wanted to play with Art. But I really wanted to play with Tony, so I'm playing with both bands, and I'm hoping that they wouldn't bump into each other, and they bumped into each other every time. My first gig with Tony Williams was the same night Art had to play at McHale. And Art was getting angry, so Art called me up one day and bawled me out, said, you tell Tony that you can play with him as long as I'm not working, but when I'm working, he has to find somebody else. If this wasn't a good marriage, I wouldn't be getting mad at you. So one day, Art figured, he said, I know what to do. I'm going to get Miles Davis on his ass. But see, I didn't know that. I didn't know that's what Art was thinking. So Art called me one day. He said, let's go see Miles. He knew Miles loved me, and I loved Miles, you know. So he said, let's go see Miles. So we went over to Miles' place, and Jonathan, it was amazing because I was looking at Miles, you know. I'm looking at Miles like that's my hero. And Miles was looking at Boo like that's his hero. We sitting at Miles' place, and Miles was saying, Boo, what I'm going to do without you, Boo? And he said, Wallace, you got to stay with Art. Art's the man. You should have heard me at Art in 1953. And Art called him Miles Inky. What's the way you doing, Inky? Boo is so familiar with Miles. And I'm smiling, and I'm just grinning, man. At that time, Dexter Gordon was about to play at Carnegie Hall. And Miles said, Boo, you see this shit Dexter going to be playing at Carnegie Hall? What the fuck he going to play without you up back there? So all Miles kept telling me was, man, you got to stick with Buhana. I went on the road with Boo again. The band had some great moments. I mean, the band was killing. And Buhana was running around telling everybody, don't mess with him. You know, he's the apple of the bull's eye. But in August, it happened again. I had a conflict between Tony and Art. And we were in Paris. And I was trying to get back to Tony's gig, and Art was really pissed and hurt. And I couldn't get back to Tony's gig. It's the first time I had to get a sub for Tony. I had to get, I think, Lou Soloff sub for me. They didn't sub for me. They got Lou Soloff. And, of course, when Lou got there, he was trying to get the gig, you know. But anyway, Art saw that I was willing to leave him again and it hurt his feelings, you know. So we went to Japan right after that. And that's when I left Boo. I left him in Japan. After that was over, after we got back from Japan, I saw Miles. Miles said, Wally, how's Boo Hanna doing? And now I wasn't with Boo anymore, so I say, he's doing good. He's home. You know, I was nervous. So this went on all the way up to the end of the year. And then one day, Miles called me over his place. And I went over his place. And the door was open. You know, you get to take your shoes off as you go in. And I walked in. He said, "Oh, you're not with Buena anymore." And I got scared. I said, "Well, he said, no, you're not with Buena no more. You're not Boo, and you're playing with Tony." And I said, "Well, yeah." He said, "Oh, shit. I know you're playing your ass off now, because Tony don't like no drummer players but me." Well, I thought he was going to be mad at me, you know, but he ended it like that. And from that point on, it was all about Tony, you know. He didn't act that much about Boo anymore. I think at the end of 88, going into 89, Boo Hanna called me and said, "Would you play the New Year's, bring the New Year's in with me?" And I said, "Sure." And I went and I played with him at Sweet Basil's, bring in the New Year's. And Cecil Taylor was there. After I sat in with him for New Year's and brought the New Year's in, you know, he only had one more year after that. That was 89. So that was 89, and then he died at 90. He died on his birthday, right after his birthday. At that point, me and Boo, before he got sick, we became real close again. I wasn't in his band no more, but I would go see him, and he would sit me down, of course. He always sat me down. Matter of fact, I had a great relationship with him, Tony, and Elvin. I used to fly first class with Boo, and the rest of the band used to sit in the back. And Boo used to say, "Yeah, let them sit back there and let them get mad so they'll have something to talk about." Me and Boo started talking again like we used to. And then one day we were in the Sweet Basil at the end of the gig, and I never forget this, man. Me and Donald Brown went down to they had a dressing room down underneath the club. And Boo kept us down there from 3 in the morning till like around 11 in the morning. Donald left. I stayed there, and he just kept talking and talking. And I said, "Oh, man, I think he's going to die." He was getting sick. And then Art Jr. passed. And when Art Jr. passed, I think Boo lost. I mean, he was already old anyway, but I think he lost the will to live. And his wife was fucking with him, that little young girl, Ann. And I remember telling Elvin that Boo Hanna was sick. Elvin Jones and Keiko, when they heard that, they packed a suitcase. The hospital on 14th Street. And they moved into the room with Elvin. And the doctors left them. They went and they spent a whole week in that room with Boo Hanna, Elvin Jones. Everybody talks about that, you know? Show you how much Elvin loved Boo. He went and stayed in the room with him, you know, for 1 week before he had to leave for his tour. And then finally, Cindy kept telling me, "Look, Boo keeps asking about you, man. He's crying for you. You should come down here." So, man, it was hard for me, but I went down there and I looked, and Boo looked like a fetus. And I tried to have a brave face and talk to him, but he looked bad. So the nurse came in, and the nurse said, "Everybody's trying to get him to eat, and he won't eat. And if he don't eat, he's going to die." And Boo Hanna looked at me and said, "I'm hungry." I said, "Boo, you got to eat, man. Come on." Not hungry. I want to eat." So I said, "Well, look, Boo, let me put it this way. If you don't eat, Cindy's going to stay here for the rest of the week trying to make you eat. And if she stay here all week and try to make you eat, then I can't eat at home." He said, I'm glad you put it like that. And then he kept saying to me, Ronnie, you ready? I'm getting out of here on my birthday. I'm going to play on my birthday. You going to play with me? I said, you get out of there, boo. I'm right up there on that bandstand with you. And watch, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to beat this, and I'm going to play on my birthday. And that was his whole goal, was to get up on his birthday. He made an announcement. The whole world thought he was. And on October the 11th, you know he wasn't going to be able to get out of that bed. But he didn't do it. Everybody went down there to see. I went down there, too. I knew he couldn't, but I went down there anyway in case they was going to roll him up and he was going to hit the cymbal or something, you know. But he didn't. And as you know, a week later he died. He just wanted to live past his last birthday, you know. Those days, I wish the music business would get the fuck out of the way and let us be musicians. Back in them days, with Art Blakey, Art had a van. He always had a van. And we would get ready to go at night to ride. And I promise you, the whole damn music community would be outside with us, waiting. People hoping that somebody don't show up and they can hop on the bus, or people just waiting to see us off. It'd be like, it seemed like it would be like 90 people out there waiting to see us go. And then when the van pulled off home and we were on the road, we leave everybody. It was like a big thing, you know what I mean? Because Art would say something like he would play with Tchaikovsky. They said, oh, come on, Art. But what he meant was Stravinsky. Stravinsky said that the percussionists couldn't make a roll that sounded like Art's press roll. So, and Art told him, well, you know, I can't read. He said, well, whenever I point to you, just roll. And that's what happened. You know, I don't know which piece it was, but Art definitely premiered one of Stravinsky's pieces. You know, whatever it was, look, I loved it, you know. I loved the whole thing. I loved the guys in the band, you know. We all were like a family. We fought a lot, but we were supposed to fight. We were always young, and we were idealistic, and they never knew what the hell they were talking about. They thought they did, but they didn't, but it didn't matter. You know, we pick up those instruments, those shiny instruments, and get up on that bandstand, and, you know, I loved it. That was my life. That is my life. Yeah. Although now I'm trying to find those moments. It don't seem to be that kind of thing anymore with the musician anymore. On that Coleman set one time, he looked at me and he could see the whole history of the trumpet in my face. And that was a beautiful compliment. But sometimes I think I understand what he means. Not saying that I am, but maybe I just love those guys that much. But Miles was my absolute hero from day one, you know. And, you know, sometimes I look at how much I love Miles, and then I hear Louis Armstrong. Yesterday I was listening to Roy Ellis play a ballad, and I was saying, man, I guess that's what he saw in me.